Viewer discretion is advised.
Wonderful open to our podcast.
Hello.
You are listening to Wine and Crime.
And Siri, I guess? Wait, don't. No. Okay.
We can't. Don't say the S word.
I'm sorry.
My phone just started talking. It was really scary.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, they're listening and you're listening. And we are the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, get creeped out by our smartphones, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, gal.
Why isn't Minnesotan an accent option for the
You know
friend
who?
in the phone?
Ooh, it should be.
It should be. Get at us, Apple.
Yes, trademark, proprietary. We will gladly train your robot to properly pronounce everything.
That will be the one thing AI will give the world that is a net
Decent.
positive.
Oh, God.
I'm Lucy. I have no time to get depressed yet.
I'm Amanda, and that's my secret. I'm always depressed. I've always got time because I'm always depressed.
Oh, yes.
Ah,
We have two different kinds of depression.
we do. I have come to embrace her in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love her, but she is part of me.
She's there.
She's always
there.
lingering.
She's always just behind you.
Just beyond the riverbed.
Oh,
Around.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. I'm fine.
We have a very special fan pick today. Coming at you from Aiden Donovan.
Oh, bless you, Aiden.
Aiden has chosen the topic of queer quandaries.
Indeed.
Yeah. And did us a huge solid and wrote much of the notes for us.
Yeah, I mean, I used Aiden's notes for the wine segment for sure and have Aiden's fan pick and did use, well, it's actually really funny. So I knew what the fan pick case was and I just started working on it and then panicked because I didn't realize that Aiden had included a bunch of stuff. And then I went to their notes and was like, oh, thank God. I've already, these are all the sources that I already used. We're on the
Great
same
minds.
page. Everything is good. So bless you and keep you.
Thank you, Aiden. Yeah, queer quandaries. Oh, Aiden also sent photos of their cat,
Oh.
who is also named Lucy.
And is a cutie patootie.
This long-haired little cloud, beautiful blue eyes.
Gorgina.
Yeah.
We love
so
her. We
If
love a cat
nothing else,
pic.
go check out pictures of Lucy the cat on the.
Yes. She's
on our
so
website.
cute. We love her.
All right. Well, let's dive right into queer quandaries. Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing?
Well, Aiden, like I said, had a primary pairing and then provided some really great shout outs. So I'm just going to blast through this quick. Today, the primary pairing is the Echoic Memory Red by Zafa Wines. And this wine clocks in at 10.5% ABV with a nice balance of acidity to complement the sweetness of the grapes that they use, which are a cold, hardy Frontenac grapes. I believe this is a Mississippi area winery. So this is made up. Yeah, Frontenac. There's definitely some Frontenac happening in Minnesota wines, some of the upstate New York wines, any of those cold hardy climates. This grape is going to do pretty well in those regions. This is 58% Frontenac Gris and 42% Frontenac Noir. They also use ambient yeast, which is naturally occurring malolactic bacteria, and then they add a little bit of sulfur just prior to bottling, and I think part of that is not only to complete the fermentation process, but also for, I think, a little bit of filtration. So this is a mostly free run blend from their website of whole cluster Frontenac Gris and Frontenac Noir. Both underwent foot treading and were fermented with ambient yeast. They individually went under a nearly 2-year oxidative élevage en lees and were blended in the tank before bottling, and they were carbonated at 3.05 CO2 volume. So it's almost a sparkling. It's almost like a natural fermentation style winemaking.
It sounds really intense.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it sounds intense because the language is like scientific, but this is like a very natural winemaking process. And this winery specifically is really committed to not only just like the natural winemaking, but also like really taking care of the land that they are growing these grapes on. Some other really fun things about this winery: Zafa Wines is an LGBTQIA plus owned winery and vineyard. And Zafa has 3 guiding principles: diversity, equity, and regeneration. This approach to justice, both for people and for the land, makes for an operation that treats its makers as well as its natural wine. So it's very much like within their mission to use this natural winemaking process as like a low carbon footprint, like low environmental impact, and also nurturing the land that they are cultivating on, which I think is fucking amazing. So you can check them out at Zafa, Zafa wines.com. They do ship to most states, and the majority of their profits go towards supporting other queer-owned local businesses on top of their own. And each wine also comes with its own playlist.
Oh, I love that.
To enjoy along with it. And Aiden says, because, quote, of course the queers know how to make wine even better. So that is our primary pairing today, but here are some shout outs that I just couldn't cut because all of them were so great, also provided by our fan picker. So RAM Cellars, RAM. This is a small batch winery owned and operated by a trans woman, and a $3 donation made from the sale of every bottle of their Viv label wines goes to one of their partner nonprofit organizations in Portland. So those organizations include Q Center, the Trans Lifeline, and the Transgender Legal Defense and Education Fund. And as this is all part of their commitment to supporting and uplifting other queer and transgender people. You can check them out at ramcellars.com. That's RAMCELLARS.com. And I believe they also ship to a lot of states that allow for alcohol delivery. If you are not an alcohol enjoyer, but you want a little bit of marijuana in your life, there is a local THC drink. It's called Canna Fizz by Urban Growler. I do believe that we have paired it before. It comes in different flavors and is easily available throughout the Minneapolis and surrounding areas. It's also available at the brewery itself. Urban Growler is actually Minnesota's first woman-owned microbrewery, and it is also queer-owned. It's located in St. Paul, Minnesota, so you can check them out at urbangrowlerbrewing.com. And then if you are fully free of the throes of any of these substances, you can also check out non-alcoholic zero-proof cocktails by Sacre Zero Proof by Woodnose. Made by Woodnose, which is a queer-owned business. It's a cute little married couple, 2 hubbies, based out of Vermont, that creates non-alcoholic drinks and mocktails. Their drinks celebrate the LGBTQ plus community's diversity, authenticity, and spirit, and you can check them out at woodnosedrinks.com. That's WOODNOSE drinks.com.
Woodnose.
I know. I love
Pinocchio.
Like Pinocchio, but they're not lying.
They're not lying.
I'm personally drinking water with lemon juice because I have had the plague for about a week now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not adding additional substances to that, mostly because I haven't been able to really smoke weed since like Friday, as I already lamented about off air, because every time I breathe it in, I cough really bad.
Yeah.
What about you? I know you're getting over being sick. We're both running ragged right now.
Yeah, I got that lingering cough, and it unfortunately comes out especially when I laugh. Kind of more of a wheeze followed by a cough.
I'll try to really not make you laugh.
I'd appreciate it if you really were a huge bummer for this episode.
Done and done. Ask and you shall receive.
I know what your fan pick is. Oh my God.
I'm always going to be that friend.
Yeah, you do. You bring us down collectively.
I do. We're gonna talk about it.
Oh, Jesus. Well, before we get especially sad, we're going to talk about some fun, positive, beautiful, vibrant, shiny, fun, great stuff first.
I love that.
Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get to all that. We're going to soak it in like vitamin D before the rainstorm.
Fabulous. And if you want to skip these ads, come join us on Uncorked at wineandcrimepodcast.com. Quince is all about elevated essentials that feel effortless, and do they ever? These are designed for layering and mixing. Each piece helps build a timeless wardrobe made to last with versatile silhouettes and thoughtful details. They're the kind of styles that you wear again and again, and I do. I wear them frequently.
Head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
Quince has got the wardrobe staples with quality that is truly made to last. 100% organic cotton sweaters, premium denim made with stretch, baby.
I love their denim.
For all-day comfort, even all-day sitting down comfort. Not all denim can say that. Luxe cotton cashmere blends, perfect for the changing seasons. Everything you need for a wardrobe that actually lasts. And the layering, my God, the layering. I love everything from like their cotton tanks and t-shirts to our collective favorite, that crew neck fisherman's sweater.
Yeah, although I really have been putting my black cashmere sweater into the rotation hard recently. She is cute.
Oh, so cute. Quince also works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so you're not paying for brand markup, just high-quality clothing. Quince uses the highest quality materials like 100% European linen and organic cotton. Their linen is so cute and so good for travel. Everything is built to hold up season after season. This is not fast fashion. The stitching, the fit, the fabrics, all of it. These are pieces you will reach for over and over.
So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/wine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/wine to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine. Lucy, what do you got for us for Queer Quandaries? I'm excited.
Well, wouldn't you know, right when I was starting my notes, I was, I don't know, watching something, and I was like, I also forgot that Aiden sent all of our notes when I first started. So I was watching something on TV, and an ad for the Trevor Project came on, and I was like, serendipitous. I'm going to start with the Trevor Project. I assumed that the backstory to that project was also tragic.
Sure.
But it's not. So I wanted to tell you about it. So in 1994, there was a film release of a movie. I think it was just a short film called Trevor. And it is an American short film, there we go, directed by Peggy Reisky. Set in 1981, the film follows what happens to 13-year-old Trevor, a Diana Ross superfan, when his crush on a schoolmate named Pinky Faraday gets discovered. Pinky Faraday is also a boy.
Okay.
So basically, Trevor is just, he likes to sing and dance. He's theatrical. He's a unique boy. His parents are like trying to ignore it, you know?
Don't.
And then they put Trevor
into it. Trevor sounds awesome.
I know. And then they put Trevor into counseling sessions with their priest.
No, some like conversion bullshit probably.
He just has a very, very bad experience with essentially being outed at the age of 13.
Oh my God.
So then one of his friends finds his diary where he has written about his crush on Pinky Faraday and shows the whole school.
No.
So Trevor tries to take his life by overdosing on aspirin in his room while listening to his beloved Diana Ross.
And this is a true...
It's not a true story.
Oh, okay.
This is just the plot of the movie.
Got it.
But he says in the movie, quote, "Everybody at school thinks I'm gay. It must be showing." How tragic is that?
That's heartbreaking.
So he survives his suicide attempt, and as a result, Trevor finds a new friend in a nurse who tends to him. And then the movie ends with the nurse giving him tickets to a Diana Ross concert.
Get out of here.
Like,
I've seen Diana Ross in concert.
have you?
Yeah, at the Orpheum in Minneapolis.
Oh my God.
With the Supremes.
Oh my God.
It was incredible. It was incredible. I loved every second of it.
Be?
Yeah, it was so fun.
How many costume changes did they have?
Oh, so many. Like almost every number. Even if it was just as simple as her like going off stage to get like a different extravagant boa. It was so iconic. I loved every second.
Oh, that's really cute. Okay, so when the film was scheduled to air on HBO in 1998, like right before it was set to air, the filmmakers realized that some of the program's young viewers might be facing the same kind of crisis as Trevor. And so they're like, well, shit, we better give them a resource to reach out to so that they don't, have suicidal ideations like Trevor did. 98.
Okay.
The movie was set in 1981.
Set in the okay, but released in 98.
Released in 98, also on HBO. So they were allowed to show, more quote unquote salacious things.
Right.
So they began looking for a support line to be broadcast during the airing, and they discovered that no such helpline existed at that point.
Wow.
So they decided to dedicate themselves to forming the resource.
That's so cool. They saw a gap and they filled it.
Yeah. The Trevor Lifeline became the first nationwide around-the-clock crisis and suicide prevention helpline for LGBTQ youth.
I've been a Trevor Project recurring donor for many years now.
Good.
Yeah. But I did not know that its origin story. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of organizations that are named in memory of people.
Right.
And I just assumed this was the same thing.
Me too.
So the project also provides online support to young people through the project's website, as well as guidance and resource to educators and parents. So it's not just for young people in crisis. It's for every, maybe
the community surrounding these young people and
had fictional Trevor's parents maybe sought resources for their gay son.
Accepting their child. Yeah.
Then that might be one such place where a parent would find such resources. In 2005, the organization released Dear Trevor, which was an online question and answer forum which allowed for people to anonymously ask and answer non-urgent questions regarding sexual orientation and identity. I love that. Also, 2005, perfect timing for a chat room.
I know, right?
By 2007, the hotline had received over 100,000 calls since its inception, so within 9 years.
Wow.
Over 3,000 education kits had been distributed to classrooms and families with just resources and literature and stuff.
Cool.
And hundreds of questions had been asked through the Dear Trevor online forum from around the world.
Wow.
So it does operate, I think, globally. They're everywhere. Today, the Trevor Project is the leading suicide prevention and crisis intervention nonprofit organization for LGBTQ plus young people. And in a world where they use the phrase LGB on their website. LGB youth are 5 times as likely as heterosexual youth to attempt suicide. And 40% of trans adults reported having made a suicide attempt in the past, and the vast majority of those happened before the age of 25. So this type of support specifically for queer young people
is essential.
It's fundamental to the survival of the community. So you can find out more if you go to thetrevorproject.org. So it's TheTrevor project.org.
I think they are also linked on our resources page. I'm pretty sure.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of resources on our resources page too. If you've never been there. Well, what would a background and psych segment be without the flag?
Oh, here we go.
So I got this information from who I would consider to be the experts, the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus website.
Okay, yes, kings.
straight to the source.
Yep.
So on their page, they have 25 of the main pride flags. 25
Yeah.
different pride flags.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to show some of them to you. I have a lot of them on the drive, which you can take a look at.
It's almost like
not exhaustive by any means.
It's almost like queer identities are just like human identities that have many different intersections.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
It's just you'd never think it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the original pride flag. So it looks like the one we all know with the rainbow of colors, but it actually isn't. It has 8 stripes instead of 6.
Okay.
So the original one is called the Gilbert flag, and it was designed by activist, veteran, drag queen, and artist Gilbert Baker, and made its debut at the San Francisco Gay and Lesbian Freedom Day Parade in 1978. So on the drive, it is labeled as the Gilbert flag.
Mm-hmm.
So that flag has 8 stripes, and it also has pink and turquoise in it. He was inspired by the Rolling Stones song She's a Rainbow, and also by the 1960s hippie movement. And so Gilbert assigned each color with a specific meaning. You can definitely feel the 60s vibes in the meanings that he assigned to the colors. So the top stripe is pink. That represented sex.
All right.
The first one to be removed.
Let's go. It's thank God sex has representation.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Now, when you say sex, do we mean the act of having sex?
Yeah, I think.
Or do we mean gender?
Well, sex and gender are different, as
That's
we
what
know.
I mean, but this was made a long time ago when that wasn't as widely recognized.
I think that it meant the act of sex.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah. Like horny. Penetration. Or not. All right. Red represented life. Orange represented healing, which I'm pretty sure is...
This sounds exactly...
Corey's. His
so
Gatorade
red is
code.
mana. Blue
Orange is
energy.
healing.
Orange is healing. According to Corey's Gatorade
Red
color assignment.
Red is flavor. No, red is power. No.
I think he said power / mana.
Should we call him and ask?
I think you should. I think you should call him.
Look at this picture.
I love it.
Hi, honey.
Hi, quick question.
What you got?
You are on the air also.
Oh, okay.
Hold him up to the microphone.
Amanda and I need to know, we'll be reminded what your Gatorade code is for the flavors and the meanings.
Well, it changes a little bit most of the time, but there's 2 in particular that stay the same. So red is power.
Power.
Power. Red is power. Okay.
Red is power. Orange is flavor.
Orange is flavor.
Yep.
Well-
Yellow is healing.
Yellow is healing.
Yellow is healing.
Wait, did you say yellow or blue?
Yellow is healing because Amanda actually coined blue as mana.
Blue is mana. Okay.
Blue is mana.
Your magic replenishment.
Okay.
This sounds right.
All right. So blue is the true healing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, blue is like the all healing mana. Yellow is like hangover healing.
Okay. Well,
Got it.
clear as mud. Thank you for the explanation.
I'll send you some supporting documents and
That would be great.
My citation page.
That'd be great.
Cite your sources. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Oh my God, I love that man so much.
It changes a little bit sometimes, most of the time. It usually changes sometimes.
He can think and feel whatever he wants about the colors of his Gatorade in the moment.
When we're being as scientific as that was.
I love it.
All right, back to the gay pride flag. Orange, healing. Yellow is sunlight. Green is nature. Turquoise, want to guess what turquoise was?
Water.
Magic.
Magic. Mana.
Yeah. Indigo is serenity, and violet is spirit.
I always say red is healing and blue is mana because when I played, I want to say it was World of Warcraft, your red bar would be your health bar and your blue bar would be your magic bar.
Oh.
And you would have to use different potions or things to replenish them.
Okay.
Yep.
Well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that is the original, the Gilbert flag, and the evolution from this to the 6-colored flag that we see primarily used today happened out of practicality. After the parade in 1978, demand for the pride flag increased, but the hot pink fabric was difficult to find in large quantities, so they dropped it.
The printer ran out of ink, baby.
Yeah. They couldn't find enough pink. They couldn't find enough sex.
That's wild.
So that's
Petition
why
to bring sex back to the flag, by the way. I'm wearing my sex sweater right now.
You really are. I got his little sex in my shirt too.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Okay. Then the Paramount Flag Company started making a version out of the standard rainbow colors to help meet the demand. And so then a 7-color pride flag was the new norm. Then a year later, the flag evolved once more to what you mostly see now. This is great. In 1979, Gilbert Baker, the flag guy.
The OG flagman.
Yeah, flagman. He was decorating street lamps along a gay pride parade route and wanted to split his now iconic flag colors between lamp posts.
Oh, cool.
But because there was an odd number of 7, he decided to drop the turquoise stripe
bitch.
Because it was a bit redundant, what with the indigo.
We have indigo. We don't need magic.
We don't need magic. We have serenity.
Guess what? You're a ranger now. You don't need your mana bar. You're going to be using a ranged weapon, and that's it. Get over it.
So the flag could be symmetrically split between flagpoles, and that's what we have today.
That's wild. It's always like such a mundane, silly detail that ends up being like the nail in the coffin of why this thing is now the way that it is forever.
Yeah.
Also lends a little lampposts.
Just lends a little bit of clarity to like how intentional is anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, everything's a lie. Nothing matters. Here we go.
Jesus.
I told you I'm depressed. But in that hyperactive kind of way.
Oh.
By the 1980s, the rainbow flag being mass-produced in multiple sizes on clothing and on accessories was being mass-produced. I just forgot a word. Okay. It's normally flown with the red stripe on the top and has been a lasting symbol of acceptance, community, diversity, and love. I also loved this little fun fact. A version of the 6-colored pride flag has been proudly hanging in the MoMA since June 26, 2015, which was the day the U.S. Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage.
Wow.
They hoisted it up that day. Hasn't come down since. Very cool. So we also have the Progress Pride flag. So that's the one with like the chevron coming in on the left side. And that has light blue, pink, and white stripes, which represent transgender and non-binary individuals. Meanwhile, the black and the brown stripes represent people of color within the LGBTQ plus community. Intersectionality.
Yep.
These new additions are in the shape of an arrow on the left pointing to the right, which represent forward movement and the need for continued progress.
Hell yeah.
Also, the official version of that flag is like wavy. So it's like moving, action,
I love
movement. And this was designed by Daniel Quasar in 2018 in response to a need for a more inclusive symbol that acknowledges the diversity within the LGBTQ plus community. I love it. It's inclusive. So we also have, again, 23 more flags on their list of main flags. So the non-binary flag has horizontal stripes of yellow, which represents gender outside of the binary, white, those who identify with multiple genders, purple, a combination of masculinity and femininity, and black, those without a gender. So that was designed by non-binary activist Kai Rowan in 2014. We have a bisexual pride flag. It's beautiful. Hot pink, most of it. Well, half of it. It's got vertical stripes of pink, which represent same-sex attraction, blue, which represent opposite-sex attraction, and purple, which, a combo. We've got the lesbian flag. A lot of these have like a special stripe or a component that represents community, which I really like. Lesbian flag, vibrant purples, reds, orange. The gay men's flag really speaks to my color palette. It has like greens and blues. Do you see it?
Yep, I see it.
And it's waving. I love the waving feature. We got leather pride. This was designed by leather activist Tony DeBlaze in 1989 as a symbol of unity and pride for the community. Look how freaking cute the leather one is.
I do like the leather one, although I'm not gonna lie, it's giving a little bit Blue Lives Matter.
Oh shit.
It scares me a little.
It was designed in 89.
Yep, I listen, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying
Cops co-opted the leather pride flag.
Which would fully track. Like, I wouldn't doubt that for 1 second.
Yeah, it does. It tracks. The intersex flag was created by intersex activist Morgan Carpenter in 2013 in response to a lack of visibility and understanding of those who do not conform to the standard gender binary.
I'm also adding the pan flag. I just uploaded it to the drive because that's the closest to my sexual identity, and she needed to be in there.
Oh, that's your palette too. Just all
Isn't she
neon.
Cute? I know, I love.
It's probably that whole outfit. We got blue for your hair.
Yeah, I'm literally wearing
your
sweatpants
sex sweater.
that are yellow too.
Amazing.
I didn't even think about it.
You're the living pan flag. Stand up for the class.
No. No full body shots.
That's
my
just
pants
for
are a little more
uncorked.
goldenrod, but they are. I can't. I'm not saying
It's fine. It's fine.
It's too small a space.
Believe women.
Believe women.
The asexuals got a flag. The demisexuals. The gray sexuals. That was a new term that I learned. The drag feather pride flag. Okay, this is the one that looks a little bit like a Hogwarts house.
Yeah, this flag is nuts.
It was designed in 1999 by artist Sean Campbell, and it features a golden phoenix meant to represent rebirth and the fiery passions that the drag community faced in the early years of the AIDS pandemic.
Hell yeah.
So I just liked the backstory of that one, and the whole page is just it's a very cool representation across a beautiful variety of pride and flags and colors and symbols. Oh, I also wanted to point out the one that is the purple circle on the field of yellow.
The
intersex.
Intersex, yeah.
That said in the description that the purple, like the ring, it's like a ring. It's not a solid circle. It's like, you know what I mean? It represents wholeness.
Oh,
like you're not missing anything.
No.
You're perfect the way you are.
I love her.
And then I think the yellow was community again, because community is important. Speaking of flags, just this last week, the National Park Service removed the pride flag from the federal flagpole at the Stonewall National Monument.
I can't imagine why that would be. My God. Also, what are we doing? Why are we complying with that shit?
I think people have hoisted it back up.
I believe so, because I did see
I saw a celebration.
On the internet. Yep. But like, can we not comply at least with this dumb shit? Like, make them take you to court, waste their time and their resources.
Yeah.
Like, block up, gunk up this fucking administration, because what are we doing?
What are we doing? Yeah. Don't play
Absolutely
their games.
absurd. No.
They're full of shit.
And it's just like, it's so fucking egregious because people died for the right to essentially hoist that flag in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
So if you are not familiar with Stonewall or need a quick refresher like I did.
Mm-hmm.
So the Stonewall Inn was a gay club in Greenwich Village in New York City in the 60s. And in the early hours of June 28th, 1969, the police raided it and did arrest a bunch of people for being gay and existing in a bar. So this led to 6 days of protests and violent clashes with law enforcement outside the bar on Christopher Street, in the neighboring streets, and in nearby Christopher Park. So the actual like national monument, or I guess as it exists as like on the like what's it called? The special places in the country.
Oh yeah.
But also the national monument. But the biggest like space is like several blocks around the actual bar. So last week, a spokesperson for the National Park Service told Gay City News, quote, under government-wide guidance, including General Services Administration policy and Department of the Interior direction, only the U.S. flag and other congressionally or departmentally authorized flags are flown on NPS-managed flagpoles with limited exceptions. So, going back a little bit, it is clear that apparently much has changed in our national sentiment towards gay people since the dedication ceremony in June of 1999, when the Assistant Secretary of the Department of the Interior, remember that was their excuse. Well, the Department of Interior told us we couldn't fly this flag. Well, John Barry in 1999 said, quote, let it forever be remembered that here on this spot, men and women stood proud, they stood fast, so that we may be who we are, we may work where we will, live where we choose, and love whom our hearts desire. So those were his fucking words. Forever.
Bitch.
It's also, I think, worth noting that it was Obama who announced the establishment of the Stonewall National Monument itself, and not just on the list of it's the list of like historic places,
historic register or whatever. Yeah,
whatever that word is. But Obama had it's an actual monument. And on February 13th, 2025, just a few weeks after Trump's return to office, references to transgender and queer people were removed from the monument's official website, prompting protests. And on July 10th of 2025, references to bisexual people were removed as well, because if we just stop validating them with our words and our language and our
they'll cease to exist
in our policy, they'll just go away.
That's how it works.
Yeah. The Trump administration has done incalculable harm to the queer community. For example, and just according to the most recent examples, by cutting funding for federal initiatives that make access to insurance and HIV medication more affordable, renewing a ban on trans military service, all this fucking bullshit about trans athletes, the 11 trans athletes in this country.
Yeah.
That's not even the fucking point.
No.
His Equal Employment Opportunity Commission rescinding LGBTQ inclusive guidance on harassment claims in the workplace. He made the fucking two sexes executive order. There's no such thing as anything except for male or female, which completely erases intersex people.
And non-binary people. And
I mean, that's like sex aside. That is, what are you, again, if we take the words away, the people go away. That's, yeah. attempting to basically ban gender-affirming care, specifically to young people. The fucking list goes on. And if you do need access to such a list, GLAAD has an accountability tracker that is very well organized. So GLAAD is GLAAD.org. You can find that. Aiden, I'm sorry I did not get to a lot of the suggestions that you sent. I really wanted to focus on the flag, and then I just started looking at the news, and it was just
too much.
It's too much, and there are also so many amazing, incredible people on the list that you sent that had I started, I never would have been able to finish. So, I mean, I know we're gonna have many more like queer themed episodes in the future. So. Yeah. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of resources in there. And if the people and this administration are making you feel a certain way about your future and your value, just know that you are so far from being alone. And that's exactly how they want to make you feel.
Right. That isolation is, and that cruelty is part of, I mean, that's, part of fascism.
Yeah. It's a weapon.
Which is all this shit is, like targeting marginalized identities is the backbone of fascism. We've seen all this before and have fought against this before in, our histories, and we will continue to fight against it because it's fucking bullshit and complete nonsense.
And going back to all those flags, incorporating community in there and how important that is. Like that is becoming more and more evident beyond the queer community at this specific moment in history. We all need each other.
Yeah, because the government is not going to fucking save you. So
no.
Connect with your people. Get to know your community so that you can support each other because it is so essential.
Yeah.
Fucking
A. That's my segment.
All right. Well, let's take another quick break to hear a word from our sponsees, and then we will dive into the fan pick case for this week.
All right.
All right. So I have the fan pick case today, which is a very well-known case. And we haven't talked about it before on this show, but, our fan picker, and I agree, felt that it feels relevant in today's social fabric. And also there's been some change and some discourse over the years surrounding this case that I wanted to get to, that I think highlight some really important things that are not easy to discuss, but like we have to talk about them or they will continue to flourish. So let's just dive in. We're talking about Matthew Shepard.
Oh, Matthew.
So the murder of Matthew Shepard in 1998 remains one of the most pivotal moments in the history of queer American civil rights, serving as a catalyst for federal hate crime legislation and a symbol of the violence faced by the LGBTQIA+ community. Shepard, a 21-year-old political science student at the University of Wyoming, was described as a tender-hearted and optimistic young man who had a passion for equality.
He's so freaking cute. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
cutie pie.
I feel like everyone went to high school with a boy like him,
100%. On the night of October 6th, 1998, Shepard was at the Fireside Lounge in Laramie, Wyoming. He was approached by Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson, who were both 21 at the time, who later told police they pretended to be gay to gain Shepard's trust and lure him into their truck with the intent to rob him. Once in the vehicle, McKinney pulled a .357 Magnum revolver and began beating Shepard. They drove to a remote area where Henderson tied Shepard to a buck fence, which had originally been incorrectly reported by media as a barbed wire fence, but it was, I guess, a buck fence, which is a different thing. He did so using a piece of clothesline that was likely just like available in his truck. McKinney proceeded to brutally pistol whip Shepard between 19 and 21 times inflicting injuries so severe they were comparable to high-speed traffic crashes.
Ugh.
The attacker stole his wallet containing $20.
Good
As well-
score, guys.
Yeah, for real. As well as his shoes, and left him tied to the fence in near freezing temperatures. Yeah, because it's, October in Wyoming. So there wasn't like snow on the ground, but it was getting cold at night.
Yeah.
Shepard was discovered 18 hours later by a cyclist, like a teenager who was out riding his bike, like out in the countryside, and fell off of his bike. And as he was getting up, was looking around and saw this, and he initially mistook it for a scarecrow or like a Halloween costume that had gotten like tangled up in the fence. Like that's how...
He might never have been found if a kid hadn't fallen off his bike like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Matthew was covered in blood except for where it had been washed away by his tears.
Oh.
He was somehow still alive and taken to the hospital, but he never regained consciousness and died 6 days later at Padre Valley Hospital from severe brainstem damage. From The Guardian, quote, the first officer at the scene was Reggie Flutie. She said, quote, the only thing I could see was partially someone's feet, and I got out of my vehicle and raced over. Said Flutie, her short blonde hair, fringe, and wire-rimmed glasses making her appear more social worker than police officer. I saw what appeared to be a young man, 13 or 14 years old, because he was so tiny, laying on his back, and he was tied to the bottom end of a pole. I did the best I could. And there was another interview with her where she talked about how she was like talking to him and like telling him that, they were going to take care of him and just trying to like
keep him alive.
Present. But he was very brain damaged at the time of discovery. So it's unclear whether he could hear or understand that help had arrived, or like what he perceived after some of those more fatal blows to especially his brainstem. And I guess my like one shred of hope is that in such a horrific and painful attack that the damage to his brainstem may have essentially taken him to a place where he couldn't feel or perceive much of what was happening. I don't have confirmation of that. That's just like my own personal hope in cases like these, is that like he didn't have to feel everything.
Hopefully you just got knocked out in the first moments.
Which is not likely, but at least at some point, I hate to imagine anybody feeling every bit of that 18 hours of just being tied there, dying, The murderers were apprehended quickly because after leaving Matthew tied to the fence, McKinney and Henderson headed toward Matthew's home, but on the way encountered two young Hispanic men who were named Emiliano Morales and Jeremy Herrera, who were allegedly slashing tires for fun. McKinney and Henderson jumped them, resulting in McKinney cracking open Morales' head with the same gun that he had used on Matthew.
God.
Police were called to that altercation, and police officer Flint Waters arrived. We'll get back to Officer Waters later. Grabbed Henderson. He and McKinney had run in different directions and found Matthew Shepard's shoes, credit card, and the blood-smeared murder weapon, the gun, in McKinney's truck.
Oh,
so from what I understand, Matthew was never shot. He was just beaten with this gun.
Yeah.
Which is like a totally different type of murder. Like, given the option, just shoot me. Just fucking shoot me. Don't beat me to death with the butt of a gun. That's a way more painful way to die, I would imagine.
I wonder if they thought, or if it's possible that that's a different type of charge.
I don't think that they were thinking about that.
If they were to get caught.
I think that's more of a what felt right in the moment. I think that there was...
They wanted to beat a gay kid is what it was.
I mean, yes. I think that that's a big part of it, but we'll get to that part of it too.
Great.
So both of these guys are arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Henderson pleads guilty to avoid going to trial because if he goes to trial, the possibility of the death penalty is on the table. So he's like, fuck it, I'll just plead guilty. McKinney wants to go to trial. He's found guilty, but was not given the death penalty. Both of them received 2 consecutive life sentences. McKinney's defense attempted to use the gay panic defense.
Yes. Old gay panic defense.
Which is still a recognized legal defense in most states in the United States.
Oh my God.
So,
I thought that was put to bed a while ago. No?
I don't think so, like on a federal, like a sweeping federal level.
Okay.
I think some states still have it as far as what I read, but some of the sources that I read from were from 2018. So I'd have to check. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, so it says here the American Bar Association issued a unanimous resolution in 2013 calling on federal, tribal, state, local, and territorial governments to prohibit the use of this defense, but many states still permit this practice.
Jesus.
This is on
Grow
LGBTmap.com. So Minnesota prohibits it. Iowa allows it. A lot of states allow it. Wisconsin allows it. Michigan prohibits, Illinois prohibits. It's like basically New England, except for weirdly Massachusetts. Oh, hold on. State prohibits the use of legal defenses claiming the victim's sexual orientation and or gender identity contribute to the defendant's actions. So-called gay trans panic. Okay. So the green states don't allow it. The yellow state does not prohibit the use of, so the like New England minus Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, which Pennsylvania, the jury's out on how much of that is New England, but I know some of Philly kind of puts themselves in there, do allow it, but anything south of Virginia, they allow it.
Definitely allow it.
Minnesota, Illinois, and Michigan are kind of are alone in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, that allow it. Everything around Texas, up into the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado prohibit. And then the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California prohibit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see the pattern here.
Mm-hmm. I'll add this to my list of sources now that we've talked about it so that if people want to check this map. Where I found it was lgbtmap.org. This is the Movement Advancement Project. So there's you can choose like a state or you can look at the United States as a whole and then you can filter by what issue you want to filter out. So there's a bunch of stuff with like LGBTQ youth, healthcare, relationship and parental recognition, non-discrimination, criminal justice, identity documents, and religious exemptions that you can filter through to look at what your state's laws are, which what a great tool. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back to this nonsense. Okay. Fortunately, so the gay panic defense, they're saying that Shepard's alleged sexual advances on McKinney drove McKinney, who was kind of like at least postured to be, and I believe also kind of admitted to being sort of the ringleader of this situation here. And his defense is saying that Shepard came on to him. There was like an allegation that he had put his hand on McKinney's leg when they were in the truck, and that caused McKinney to become temporarily insane and attack him.
I cannot believe this is a legitimate.
The judge rejected this, which is good because that's bullshit. And also McKinney's own testimony and like interviews contradicted that in and of itself, because there were some where he said like, oh yeah, he touched me. He came on to me in the car. And then there was another where he said, well, he looked like he wanted to have sex with me, or he looked like he wanted to come on to me. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Fuck off. So the case.
Also, if I could kill a man every time they gave me a look like that.
Right? Come on.
The streets would be lined.
Oh, flooded with blood. The case created a national outrage. I mean, we were like 11 when this happened, and I even remember so much about this. Like the news and talking about it at school, and like this was a huge deal, the Matthew Shepard case, and triggered a massive backlash against homophobia, which is a great thing. Shepard's parents, Judy and Dennis Shepard, became prominent activists, establishing the Matthew Shepard Foundation to advocate for LGBTQ plus rights. Tearful politicians and celebrities gathered on the steps of the U.S. Capitol to address a vigil of thousands. Even President Bill Clinton condemned the attackers as full of hatred or full of fear or both. There were candlelight vigils held across the nation. The cultural footprint of the case is immense, and it's still felt today. It led directly to the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, signed by President Barack Obama in 2009. So James Byrd Jr. was a black man who was murdered in Texas in June of 1998, so not that long before Matthew Shepard was murdered. And he was murdered by 3 white supremacists who dragged him behind their pickup truck, and that's how they killed him.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This federal law expanded the definition of hate crimes to include those motivated by a victim's actual or perceived gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. The case inspired the play and the film The Laramie Project, as well as songs by artists like Elton John, Melissa Etheridge, and Tori Amos. In 2018, Matthew Shepard's ashes were interred at the Washington National Cathedral, which is an honor previously accorded to figures like Helen Keller. Like, very few historical figures have been interred there. It's a major honor to be interred there. And it's like notable to say that not even Harvey Milk, the San Francisco politician assassinated in 1978, is interred at Washington National Cathedral. So it's like very rare. He was
a politician.
Yes. A collection of Matthew Shepard's personal effects donated by his family are on display at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History in the U.S. Capitol. Wow. God knows if they've been removed now, but they were there for a long time. As far as I know, they're still there. His schoolwork, theater scripts, photos, and sandals are among the exhibits.
Sandals.
I know. Matthew's funeral in the family's hometown of Casper, Wyoming, was on October 16th, 1998, and shed even more light on more anti-gay hate when it was picketed by the anti-gay preacher from Kansas, Reverend Fred Phelps of Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh my God.
And his devoted flock of bigoted fucks, including the children of those bigoted fucks, being indoctrinated into their legacy of like white supremacist hate mongering to carry on their
sad
shit.
For those kids.
Well, yeah.
I hope I feel a lot worse for people like Matthew Shepard.
Yup.
But good Lord, that's abuse.
They swarmed his funeral holding signs with homophobic slurs. I mean, we all know the infamous God hates F slurs. Shouted at mourners that Matthew was burning in hell. And it was like such a high intensity situation. Matthew's father remembers law enforcement making him wear a bulletproof vest to step outside of the Episcopal Church, which had been
his son's funeral,
which had been scoured by bomb-sniffing dogs for the safety of mourners. There were also SWAT teams positioned at the front and back of the building and police snipers on surrounding rooftops.
Wow.
Yeah.
At his funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Westboro Baptist Hate Group, because I fucking hate calling it a church, was not deterred and continued to show up at the trials of Matthew's murderers. Counter-protesters standing between the hate group and the courthouse wearing massive angel wings became an iconic and memorable image. Quote, "We had this idea for big-ass angel wings that would block out the signs," says Jim Osborne, who was chair of University of Wyoming's LGBT Association at the time of Matthew's death.
Big-ass angel wings.
Big-ass angel wings. What became known as the Angel Action has been recreated since to combat Westboro Baptist Church, including when those motherfuckers showed up to heckle mourners at the funerals of victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, Florida. So they haven't gone anywhere. They're still very much around doing this shit.
Ugh.
While the case is widely recognized as a definitive anti-gay hate crime, the discourse around the killer's motives has been complex and at times contentious. From the beginning, friends and activists framed the attack as a hate crime, noting that Wyoming lacked such legislative protections for victims, still does, by the way, we'll get to that, of hate and identity-motivated crimes. McKinney himself admitted in 2009, quote, "The night I did it, I did have hatred for homosexuals," and noted that Shepard's perceived frailty played a part. And I want to say before I get into any of this next part, and I will circle back to this, I'm not arguing that this wasn't a hate crime. So I want to make that very clear before people fucking jump down my throat about it, but I do think that this is an important conversation that needs to be had. So, however, subsequent reporting, most notably by journalist Stephen Jimenez, who is also a gay man, in his book, The Book of Matt, which was published in 2013, he had spent the better part of, more than a decade researching this case, suggested the murder was likely a methamphetamine-fueled robbery. Jimenez discovered in his extensive reporting on the case that Shepard and McKinney actually knew each other prior to the violent murder, and were even occasional sex partners, and may have both been exploited for sex work in the community as well as distribution of meth. These findings suggest the motive was also drug-related rather than purely homophobic. Some former investigators, such as Flint Waters, if you remember, he was referenced earlier in this case write-up, he supported the idea that the attackers were looking for drugs that they believed Shepard possessed, and that was why they were making their way toward Matthew's home after murdering him when they stopped and jumped those two guys. They were headed in the direction of Matthew's house.
To break into his house to find the drugs that they thought he had?
Yes.
But that was after they tied him to a fence.
Correct, because I think they were trying... The theory was... They were trying to get the drugs out of him. He didn't have them on him or didn't give them up, or maybe he didn't have them at all.
So they must be at his house.
So they must be at his house. We're not getting anywhere here. We'll take his shit. We'll go to his house and we'll find them.
That kind of makes the pistol whipping
make more sense.
Make a little more sense.
Because they're trying to
get something
beat
out of him
into telling him where this is. And it goes too far and they realize, oh, fuck. He's not going to make it. We got to get out of here. Let's go find those drugs and then take off. But they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. And also just psychologically, the kind of projection, the self-hate, that projection aspect.
We'll get to that too. So this guy, Flint Waters, this investigator, said to The Guardian, quote, "I believe to this day that McKinney and Henderson were trying to find Matthew's house so they could steal his drugs. It was fairly well known in the Laramie community that McKinney wouldn't be one that was striking out of a sense of homophobia. I disagree with this, but we'll get to that. Some of the officers I worked with had caught him in a sexual act with another man, so it didn't fit. None of that made any sense." Okay. Your sexual identity does not determine whether or not you have hate or hatred or bigotry toward that same sexual identity. And also, I wouldn't even say that having sex with people of the same gender on occasion, especially through the lens of potentially of sex work, means you're gay.
Yeah.
We have to be open to more fluidity about that. But I don't write this off as not being a hate crime. I do think that this is a more complex crime than just they hated him because he was gay. And I think that multiple things can fucking exist at once. And that black and white thinking can get us into dangerous territory, which we'll get to. So these alternative theories were met with fierce criticism from groups like GLAAD and the Shepard family, who labeled them innuendo and an attempt to de-gay the murder. Quote, "This does not make the perfect poster boy for the gay rights movement," says Jimenez, which is a big part of the reason my book has been so trashed. Lead investigator Dave O'Malley, who admitted he himself was homophobic prior to the case and changed his tune after spending so much time with Matthew's friends and family during the investigation, firmly maintains it was a hate crime, stating the robbery motive stopped really early in the encounter. I personally believe it was likely both. Initially, could have been fueled by anger over money and drugs, combined with the potential, like you said, self-hatred and internalized homophobia of McKinney for engaging in sex acts with other men, potentially even with Shepard. And it escalated into a hate crime. The murderer's sexual preference, like I said, does not automatically negate a hate crime motivation.
Especially when, like, the way it was reported, I mean, I know that this is just a very small summary, but it's like, well, there were rumors that he slept with another guy, so that means he's gay, so that means he couldn't have killed Matthew Shepard as a hate crime.
Right, exactly. That's not true.
That's so reductive. And
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by saying that's not true. Like, it could very well be true that he was gay or somewhere on that queer spectrum, because first of all, who the fuck isn't?
25 main flags.
Right. Like, come on. I also think that it's really important to include even the hard to swallow details of these cases and not frame anyone as a perfect victim, because there is no such thing. Humans are imperfect. We struggle with addiction among so many other things. And not holding all of these pieces of our shared humanity opens up the door to that fucking hierarchy of who deserves protection, justice, and even martyrdom, and who doesn't. So in my view, who fucking cares if Matthew struggled with addiction and potentially owed his dealer money or potentially had drugs that they wanted to steal? Who cares?
That's actually not the point.
It's not the point. So what if McKinney had sexual encounters with men? None of that means that Matthew deserved to die a painful and miserable death. And it also doesn't mean that his open sexuality wasn't a huge factor in this case. It also doesn't negate the impact of his murder on the queer community. It doesn't make it not a hate crime. It makes it a more complex crime than we have framed it as. And when we can hold all of the human parts of us, even the stigmatized ones, we can see all victims as deserving of justice, and then maybe justice can actually become the standard without having to hide or scrub away relevant aspects of a victim's case, because it is relevant if they were trying to shake him down for drugs. It is relevant if they were going to go to his house and try to find and steal drugs that they thought that he had. That's relevant to the motivation of that crime. How that crime escalated is another part of it that leads us into the hate crime category, which, again, I want to be very clear. I do believe this was a hate crime. I think that they targeted him for this robbery because of his outspoken sexual identity, and because at least one of them kind of knew him from around town, called him quote unquote frail on multiple occasions because he was just like a little guy, and they took advantage of him. Yeah. All of those things can be fucking true.
I think it is also worth noticing that, like, and like you, I am not trying to detract anything from Matthew's life or his death or his impact. And having said all of what you were saying about, like, well, maybe there was a drug element or whatever, because his murder was so violent and the way that, and just who he was as a sweet little man, you know, that it's so easy to jump and be like, he was, you know, he was such an innocent boy, and like he is this unblemished martyr. It's like we also can't risk, or have to at least be aware of how much he's lauded after death, to the point where we're not able to consider that aspect, that potential.
Which is damaging to the justice system as a whole. When we can't hold all of these nuances, it's not good. It's not good for the justice system. It's not good for humanity, frankly. And like, this whole situation also highlights how the stigmatized aspects of a white victim's life are sanitized and scrubbed to preserve their innocence and deem them deserving of justice, which they fucking are. But meanwhile, black and brown victims are villainized to create false justification for their deaths and deemed undeserving of justice. Like, we've seen this so many times, especially with black trans victims.
What happened to James Byrd's killers?
I didn't go down that road. I believe they were convicted, but
okay.
There was so much to cover here that I didn't follow that thread.
Okay. I don't know if you're comparing and contrasting, if it was like radically different.
I'm not comparing it to that specific case. I'm comparing it to just a swath of how this like hierarchy of who is a perfect victim and who deserves justice typically favors white people.
Mm-hmm.
And like we in whiteness have this like weird obsession. We have these like weird obsessions with purity. And I think it's a very white instinct to go, well, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. We need Matthew to be a martyr. So like we can't hold all of his humanity. We can only hold the ones that look really good to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And that
easily digestible.
And that's damaging because that dehumanizes other people who are in very similar circumstances as Matthew and deserve justice for the harm that they have been caused.
Mm-hmm.
And like with Black and brown victims getting villainized in the press, we see this all the time. Like Black queer victims, Black trans women, Black sex workers, Black victims of a normalized quote unquote sexual and gender identity. Like God forbid, look at George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid a Black victim have like any mark on their record or a previous arrest. The photos plastered on every news outlet will be their fucking mugshot. Mm-hmm. People are still out here saying that George Floyd died of a drug overdose, even though we all watched Derek Chauvin kneel on his neck for 9 straight fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there was a potential history of these victims of crime, like dabbling in drugs or using a fake $20 bill. Like, none of that means that they should have been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's why I think that this whole like perfect victim thing is so fucking damaging because it dehumanizes people. And then the even more marginalized people in society who are already on the outskirts and already fucking dehumanized can be further dehumanized, because then even when we do have a white victim that's gaining national attention, we can't possibly hold all of the pieces of their humanity, including what's seen as flaws.
Mm-hmm.
And like, who's surprised about some fucking drug use in, first of all, any fucking community? Hi. But like the queer community, this is like pretty normal.
In Wyoming,
Yes!
all of which is rural. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, we're shocked. I'd be more surprised about hearing about a victim who'd lived long enough to like never have gotten in trouble with drugs or never have gotten in trouble with the fucking
That's
law.
suspicious.
So why do people have to be perfect for justice to be served? They fucking don't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
This is
So
why
that's the
I
point
make
that
a
I'm
very
trying to make.
bad jury person.
Me too. I probably would. I've never been
Oh,
called.
God. I don't think you'd be selected at this point in your career.
Probably not. Probably not. But
No,
yeah,
it's complicated, and it requires people to like actually think critically about the systems that we have so much built on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
a lot easier to put it in a box and pretend that it's a novel,
Right.
a fucking short story, and it needs to get a nice little wrapped up with the bow at the end.
Mm-hmm.
People are messy, man.
Yeah, human beings aren't like that. You live long enough and you've engaged in some shit. That's life. It does not mean that you don't deserve justice.
Mm-hmm. I did look up because I was curious about the James Byrd Jr.'s killers.
Mm-hmm.
According to the Wikipedia page, so 2 of the guys who killed him, there were 3. Brewer and King are among. Well, they were executed by the state.
Okay.
And then the 3rd one was sentenced to life imprisonment and will be eligible for parole in 2038. It says Brewer and King are among the few white men to be executed for killing a Black person in Texas since the death penalty was reinstated in the 1970s.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that they were executed.
There must have been an awful lot of proof, and James Byrd Jr. must have just been the perfect victim.
Yeah, I guess so. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can stop beating that dead horse, but it's just frustrating that, like, I understand the family being like, can we fucking not? Like, Matthew's gone. Can we not fucking do this? But, like, let's also not attack Jimenez for researching this case for 13 years as a gay man himself and going, hold up, there's more to this than what we have been told and like spoon-fed by the media, what everybody has latched onto.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't look at all of those things, it can affect other cases in the future. It can affect legislation. It does affect legislation. Like, this stuff has real impacts. And yeah, until we can like actually see everyone as human with all of the messy shit that goes along with that, progress is not achievable, in my opinion. And that's just me. So whatever, I don't know. So while Matthew's murder propelled the U.S. forward in protections for queer communities, the fight continues and has only gotten worse under Trump, as Lucy pointed out. As of early 2026, Arkansas, South Carolina, and still to this day, Wyoming are the only 3 U.S. states that do not have specific state-level hate crime statutes.
After all this, how the fuck is Wyoming still a one of 3 on that fucking list?
My theory is that Wyoming was like, well, it was passed federally, so why go the extra mile?
It's also an incredibly red state.
Yeah, leaving them without statutory penalty-enhancing legislation for bias-motivated violence. South Carolina remains one of the few states without a specific hate crime law, though cities like Spartanburg have adopted local hate intimidation ordinances, whatever that means. Wyoming does not have a state-level hate crime law, despite being the state where Matthew was murdered. Arkansas does not have a comprehensive hate crime law, although it does report data, like hate crime data, to the FBI. While 47 states and D.C. have enacted some form of hate crime legislation, these laws vary significantly in whether they cover race, religion, sexual orientation, or gender identity.
That's the whole
swath.
That's the whole fucking point.
So before we even like any state that is not one of the 3 that's on that list of having no laws, before any of us pat ourselves on the back, these state level laws are they're fluid. And so looking into what those laws are in your state is really important so that you can actually talk to your state Congress people, your representatives, and be like,
know who
hey,
they are. Yeah.
Why don't our state hate crime laws include race or gender identity?
That's the whole...
Like,
that's what separates it from just the regular crime.
Like,
isn't that what we're fucking talking about?
Right. And you know what? That's a big part of the fucking problem, is because like hate crime charges are genuinely, and I don't have like the stats right in front of me, so whatever, but like they are genuinely some of the hardest to bring.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they are like the number one motivation in most crime, because most crime is necessity, right? It's mostly like desperation. But the fact that we have so many hate crime laws that are like really loose makes it so hard to bring hate crime charges, which is why it surprises me that a state like Texas, which like, I'm not even saying that like any state is better or worse than Texas. Texas is actually an amazing state that suffers from some serious political segregation and oppression. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I know exactly the statistics of who in Texas is more left-leaning and who isn't, but like we know this across every state. Your leadership does not necessarily perfectly represent your constituency, and a lot of that is because of oppression and voter restrictions. So like
redlining
and yes. So I'm not like saying, oh my God, I can't believe even Texas. Like it's hard to bring hate crime charges anywhere. So we think about states like Texas, we think about states like Alabama or Arkansas, these like, southern, what we label as like, northern liberal whites, as these like deep South evil red states. But like states aren't red or blue, they're people. And a lot of these a lot of these are just reflections of the oppression of their constituency. And so like being politically active, it's really overwhelming when you think about it on a massive like federal scale, and especially under this Trump administration. But like finding your place at the local level is so fucking important, because if there's stuff that's not protected by federal law, you as a constituent can hold your reps accountable and say, hey, hold on. Why? Why is this like this? Why do we even bother having fucking hate crime legislation if it doesn't cover queer people or people of color? What is the fucking point? And then holding them accountable so that if federal law won't fucking protect you or bring you justice, you can at least try to seek it on a state level.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also, this shit's crazy.
Just because of my curiosity, I went back to the James Byrd Jr. article.
We're going to have to cover that whole case.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I skimmed it. I'm
sure
graphic.
It's awful.
It's awful. But they said that state law enforcement determined were able to bring hate crime charges because two of the guys were very well-known white supremacists in the area.
So it was established.
It was established that they hated black people and they went out and killed a black dude one night.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I remember when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered while jogging. There was it was hard for them to bring hate crime charges in that case. Let me check. Okay, Representative Brent issued statement regarding verdict for hate crime charges against Ahmaud Arbery's killers. Yeah, so they were able to bring hate crime charges in that case, which it should have been a no fucking brainer that there would be hate crime charges. But the fact that there are so many barriers, state by state, to add those additional charges, no one's even saying it only needs to be hate crime charges. It's no, but if there's a murder that obviously has a hate element to it, there should be the option to add those fucking charges to the murderers. And I remember
we'll have to cover hate crimes, although I think we've already have.
I'm sure we have. But I remember that discourse around Ahmaud Arbery, people being he was breaking into a house that was being built and blah, blah. It's what the fuck are you talking about?
I think the bar for tossing out an additional charge like that is so fucking low because of whatever.
Yes.
Gossip.
And white supremacy, people being no, it's not because he was black. It's because he looked at a house that was wide open and in the process of being built. So he deserved, so of course they followed him. They were keeping their neighborhood safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, shit pisses me off. I'm fucking pissed.
I knew we'd end on this note.
I did my job.
You did your job.
My job.
Tried to do mine. Just look at the flags. They're very beautiful.
I had a lot to cover, so I'm glad that you had some burnout, and because otherwise this would be a 3-hour episode. So Aiden, there will be more of this down the road. We appreciate all of the resources that you provided, which we have saved and will continue to tap into for future episodes. But yeah, I'm glad we gave Matthew Shepard's case some room to breathe, because I think that conversation is important.
Yeah, I didn't know about the book and the other quote unquote theories, and that's also
evidence.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. Quick aside. If you are a member of our Uncorked, A, thank you. B, if you are wondering where to find our happy hour information, we've had some complications with the emails getting sent out. So either check your Uncorked main feed for a post from us, or check out our socials, because we post on there too.
Make sure your emails from Uncorked, which is hosted by Supercast, are not going to go to spam. Because I'm always, when I put the happy hour room up on Uncorked, I have it published to the feed, so you can always see it on the Uncorked website feed. But I also have it emailed out right away. So I think some folks, it's getting filtered into your spam folder. So check on that. Also, try logging into your subscriber account and checking your email preferences, making sure that you have, all of that turned on. We want to make sure that you can make it, because those happy hours are super, super, super fun. But we do also post them to our social media, and then that link is put on the Uncorked page.
So we don't want to miss you at our next happy hour.
Exactly.
And thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Aiden. I almost said Donovan. That is your last name.
Aiden Donovan.
Aiden Donovan, thank you for aiding us in this episode, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Like what you see? Check out more episodes and become a member to unlock exclusive content.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Bye.